Hello everybody, today we're going to be attempting a repair on this PS4 controller. I'm not too familiar with gaming stuff, so do forgive me if I sound really ignorant when it comes to some of this stuff. I'm not much of a gamer, I'm just kind of an electronics geek. This is a Scuf Pro. You guys that are familiar with the stuff will know them. Reportedly, the problem with this is a liquid spill. Somebody spilled some kind of a liquid. Some of the buttons and stuff aren't working now. So we're going to use this gamepad testing website here. This joystick here is glitching out, not working properly. We have one stuck button there at the top. And other than that, everything seems okay, I think. So this thing has a bad sign in that it's already been messed with a little, it seems, and did not have the right tools. You can see a stripped screw here, a missing screw over here. I'm starting to discover why the person who was trying to fix this ended up giving up. And that's because this thing actually has a security screw. When I have a real big problem with this type of stuff, I'll try and use dikes or side cutters, whatever you want to call them. And they've gotten me out of a few pickles. I do love my battles with strip screws. I'm trying not to scratch this thing too much, but I can see that the person who owns this already did their fair share of scratching on it. They were definitely trying to pick at it and get it off. Jesus Christ. When I turn it, it snaps back. Oh man. Trying to formulate a different plan.
Recording?
Yeah. Alright, so after a little bit of picking around, I managed to do it with the dikes. Or side cutters. Flush cutters, I think, is what these are. Damn. I mean, it's broken loose, so the hard part is over. Now I just gotta keep going for a little bit. There we go. And now to remove the next one, because the other one over here is complete. Oh my god. Alright, so we have a second strip screw on this controller. This one looks kind of bad as well. Let's see, just try a flat. Slightly larger one. No, that one's too large. So I'm wondering if maybe this one, if I really press it, it might catch. Nope. Let me try like a hex bit. Oh, that seems like it might catch. There we go. So that screw is never going back. And the last one is this Phillips. It's got pretty messed up too. So let's start off just trying with Phillips. Yeah, it should still come out okay. This one just pressing hard. A lot of skin cells in there. Those are all skin cells, I'm pretty sure. Let's try and actually disassemble it now. Hopefully there's no surprises. Alright, that was actually fairly straightforward, thank God. There's a ribbon cable that has to be disconnected. 2 ribbon cables that need to be disconnected. So here's the inside of that, and I'm showing it to the camera so you guys can see it and so I can see it, so I can document how everything sort of goes. So far I don't really see anything that shows liquid damage. I mean, most of what I'm seeing here is flux on the board. But it clearly has problems, so I have to check it out. So we know one of the joysticks is just straight up gonna be bad. I don't know if this one is like the kind that screws in or pulls out. Okay, there we go. It's like a little tab that you lift up. It's a little more of a hook, I guess. There we go. I also noticed some amount of corrosion on the actual ribbon cable, the part with the pads. So yeah, some of that stuff doesn't look super promising. Along the ribbon cable, etching looks okay. I was a little bit worried that some of it had corroded off, because it looked like some of it had corroded off on the other side. But that's actually just some of that crap that got in there. Like right here, you can see there's these dots right here. So I think probably all the issue with the button just comes from this part, not so much the part up here with where the actual button is. So let's try and clean that up a little bit. Those are very delicate, so you have to be careful. First I'm going to go ahead with alcohol, which alcohol is only really good for mild stuff, but maybe this is mild stuff. So now we gotta hit it with some actual electronics cleaner. But that seems like it got off a good amount of the gunk. Alright, that's something. Okay, so let me try some deoxit or CRC and see if it does anything to that oxidation. Gotta act quick because this stuff evaporates almost immediately. I mean, that seems like it polished him a little, but it's still a little bit, there's some patina on there. Yeah, I think that's as good as it's gonna get. Let's do some of the eraser trick. Whenever I see any kind of oxide, I always try and get rid of it completely because oxide can spread. So I don't know if that's really the case here. It worked? It's all in there? Sweet.
What is this? There's no date on.
That's the new one.
From here,
no, it's I didn't end up doing.
How did you get that one to work?
Just like squeezed it.
So this one's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Oh.
So the eraser's not working, so I think that's as good as it's gonna get. And then we'll clean up a little bit of the clean this part a little bit. Make sure we don't have any issues here. So now we're going to clean up these guys as well. These you don't want to get too aggressive with because this black stuff is kind of a conductive coating. So if you get too crazy with it, you'll actually clean off the conductive coating and then it'll be useless. So never use anything too aggressive on these guys. Get everything aligned. Definitely see some crud on these, so we're gonna go ahead and clean them up a little bit. For this, I'm actually gonna use this electronics cleaner stuff that I use because it's really good at just cleaning up general gunk off of stuff. Want to get all that cleaner off of here. Alright, so on this thing, we're actually going to have to replace this joystick. There we go. So these are actually kind of a pain in the ass to replace. It takes a combination of mechanical force and also heat at the same. You gotta apply both at the same time, and it's just annoying. I basically like to destroy the old joystick because there's so many pins. All those are the pins that connect the joystick to the board. Problem with that is that it just takes a lot of heat and effort to try and get all those hot at the same time so you can remove the whole thing. So it's just much easier if you can eliminate as much of the pins going off together as you can. So just break this off to the side and then you can remove that independently. Break this off to the side and then you can remove that independently. So now all I have to do is add a bunch of solder to these pins. And basically just one big blob that'll go across all of them at the same time. And then I'll grab it with some pliers on the other end as I also pull and heat at the same time. So that guy's out all by itself now. Do the same thing to the other one. So there's the other pot. And well, unfortunately the rest of it is just inevitably a pain in the ass to remove. I just make sure I add plenty of leaded solder. Try and lower that melting temperature. And I'll just jam something under there. Oh, and first you gotta secure any components on this other side. As you can see, it's surrounded by small components everywhere. Just to make it easier for you. Just go ahead and secure all that small stuff. It helps if you take pictures and stuff first, just in case anything does fly off. You at least have some kind of reference. Alright, that's good enough. Protect this connector on the other side as well. So I usually use one of these guys because they have kind of a little more, they're a little harder they'll leverage a lot better. So this whole time I'm heating this, I'm applying force, I'm prying on it to try and make it come out. So this is starting to go, thankfully. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off one of these little legs right here. It's already pretty much all the way, it is all the way out. So I'm just going to remove that so I can slide this guy in all the way. And that's going to be my ticket out of here. Okay, so here I screwed up big time because I let the camera run out of battery, but you can see me pull out the joystick. Right there, the joystick finally popped out. And here I have a remaining pin, which I'm just going to snip off so that I can just desolder that with just a soldering iron and not having to worry about the hot air station anymore. After this, it's basically just typical desoldering. You don't really miss anything. Alright, so my apologies. The camera ended up going off because I'm stupid and I forgot to plug it in and it ran out of battery. So you missed the final part where I actually managed to pull this off, but you pretty much got to see most of it. I just, the last bits of the video, I'm just like finishing pulling this thing off of here and desoldering, which is pretty straightforward, just with this desoldering wick and soldering the new part on. So the other thing I did is rinse this off really well, but really most of the residue is just flux from the factory. Sometimes when they manufacture PCBs, they don't really rinse off of all of the flux. So you can see a lot of yellow on this paper towel here. I'm just going to reassemble this and test. Also, one quick thing that was done just before assembly was this ribbon cable needed to be retinned because it had some fairly bad corrosion. And this is something that needs to be done with lots of care because if you end up lifting the traces off of this ribbon cable, it's kind of done. So lower temperature, do it quick. You can pretty much tin it with just whatever solder is left on the soldering iron tip without actually not having to add anything. It's almost like you're drawing with a pencil or something. So don't add too much solder because then it won't be able to go into the connector anymore. And just clean off the flux really well, and that's it. Alright, so here's the controller all put back together, and everything's working fine now. No more sticky joystick, no more twitching. Seems good to go. So kind of tedious, usually not worth it for like a regular PS4 controller. Usually these nice custom ones and a little bit more worth it because they're more expensive. Basically just a cleanup. There were some dirty contacts on the ribbon cables, mostly just cleaning and the replacement of this joystick here. So there you go.